Good late morning, everybody. Good, it'll be afternoon here by the time I upload this, but it's all good. Good afternoon, good morning, whenever you watch this. How's everybody doing? Game time, Brian here. Yes, game time, Brian. Talking about a fight at practice, people. Yes, sounds like Donovan Wilson punch Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson can get a little chippy. Now, listen, I want everybody to understand that that's a good thing. This is that yesterday was the final day of padded practice at Oxnard. Today is like a walkthrough, and then they come back. They come back to the Star. They finish up their preseason schedule on Saturday. And don't know. It'll be all the young guys. Just hearing Darth Vader, basically. Jerry Jones. He's like Darth Vader anymore. Really, it's just the way he acts. It's crazy. But Darth Vader basically said that the hardest cut on the team is going to be tight ends and, more importantly, the defensive back room. Like I've been telling everybody. Now, I don't need Jerry Jones to tell me that. I have a set of eyes. I've been watching football for a long time. I have a set of eyes. I know what's going on. I know where our strengths lie. So when I get into it, and we'll get to it, I'm going to play a Micah Parsons video talking about the fight and the practice. But before we finished up last night. I wasn't in the best of mental spaces. I had a good day up until, up until I loved the live stream. It was great, man. Mark Hutchin won the bobble. West Virginia Country Boy. I believe I drew your name as well. Yes. So you need to let me know what you want. If you want to wait for the new design shirts, we could do that. I got plenty of hats. Let me know, brother. But, it got like it always does during the channel member Zoom calls, because I have a lot of Eagle fans. Again, I would just hope that people would be happy that the audience is growing. If anybody gets personal, then, Brad Harris is my resident. He will time you out. If it gets personal, if somebody criticizes the Cowboys, then okay, who cares? This is not a Dallas only channel. I mean, there's 51 million YouTube channels. I like to broaden the audience a little bit. I like to talk. I don't want to be the Dan Sileo shows where you're just you run your mouth and crap on both sides. That's what he does. I'm going to call it real. If I think the Eagles are doing good, I'm going to tell you. If I think they lose 7 in a row like they did last year and they finished 30th in defense out of 32 teams, that I'm going to listen to somebody tell me how great they're going to be on defense this year? No, you have to prove it to me. And to me, that's fair. Just like I'm not going to tell you that our defense is you're going to be the best in the league. But I do believe our defense is going to be better, well-rounded by the end of the year. I think statistically it's going to be a better defense under Mike Zimmer. Yes. The question was, well, are you going to get as many turnovers? I said probably not. You got to remember, Deron Bland had 6 touchdown returns for touchdown, 5 or 6. I want to say 6. Put it in the comments if I'm wrong. At least, I know he had at least 5 touchdown returns for TDs. That's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. That's not happening. We were getting turnovers at a record rate. What we weren't doing, Drew, was running the football. We were one-dimensional. We were getting leads, okay, with good field position. So I understand what you're saying is, the defense. A lot of things went our way last year. Turnovers are good, but also having the right pieces in place. Okay, there's a reason. What happened by the end of the year? We were giving up chunks of yards. We were rated a lot higher than where we finished defensively. Why? Because we fell apart over the last quarter of the year and into the playoff game where we didn't cause the Green Bay Packers to punt one time. Think about that. In the first half, they didn't punt one time. We were down by over 20 points in the playoff game. Yes, Dak had a pick six. Okay. I'm not here to defend Dak. I'm talking about our defense. Okay? Our defense was not good by the end of the year. Jonathan Hankins was not a good player by the end of the year. Mozzie Smith was out of position and was told to do something he's never done by that same defense that you love so much and said how great it was. We had an easy schedule last year. Okay? We didn't win. We weren't coming off a divisional win. And our defense is going to be better this year. You don't have to believe me. You can believe Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is the realest person out there. It could be special. Why? We got Trayvon Diggs back. Everybody's overlooking that. He's been practicing for a week at a high level. Okay? Pro Bowl player. Arguably our best defensive player. How could you overlook that? Why? Because we're going to a new scheme? And certain people think we don't have the players to fit that scheme. Okay. Well, that's why we're adding all these pieces. You know, in Zimmer's scheme, he doesn't need his defensive tackles to be beasts. He needs to do a job. One technique has a job to eat up a double team, to let his not two linebackers, but three. He runs a three linebacker system. And what do we have? A plethora of linebackers. Okay. Now, if we're going to sit there and say that last week on the Kobe Dean was horrible and might get cut, and now this week he's the best linebacker on the team playing-wise right now because a light has switched. A light has switched. And now Kobe Dean is that guy. I'm happy for him. But if you could say that, right? If you could say that, and you could say that your team, your defense is going to be better because of a coordinator, Vic Fangio, who I said I liked. You got rid of Hassan Reddick, okay? You're counting on a bunch of young players. You can't tell me that my offensive line's going to stink because I got young players and then say that your defense is going to be good because you're counting on young players. Okay? Jordan Davis has not been that player yet, okay? Dan Cilio tried to compare Jordan Davis to Mozzie Smith. Or no, Philly 500. Well, they're both first-round picks. Yeah, one was drafted at the bottom of the round next to Nolan Smith, who as of now has not been good. Now, they're saying that this scheme, and it fits him better. Good. I mean, you know. But it's okay for Nolan Smith to be now changed into a scheme that fits him better. But Mozzie Smith, he stalks in and he'll never play. Whereas the scheme is what he played in college under Zimmer. Do you see where I'm going here? It's called a double standard, people. You can't have it both ways. You can, but I ain't going to put up with it. I'm going to call you out on your bullshit. Whoever you are. Again, Nolan Smith's going to have a breakout year because he's in a good scheme. Yet Mozzie Smith is a failure. Why? Because you just want to be a troll. He's in a scheme you played in college. Give the kid a break. Defensive tackles takes multiple years. Look at Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, for what you gave up, has been disappointing. Okay? He's got upside. He's been disappointing up till now. He gave up multiple picks. It's not the same. You want to compare players? Compare Nolan Smith, who was on the board when we drafted Mozzie, and Nolan went 2 picks later. That's a fair comparison. And we'll talk at the end of the year. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. You have opinions, but just keep it real with your opinions. If you're going to say one thing, then you give me that same courtesy. That's all I was saying. And I do think our defense will be better. Why? DeMarvin Overshown, Damone Clark, Eric Kendricks. I mean, our linebacking room, Maris Leofau. I mean, Donovan Wilson. I mean, we were playing with a 205-pound safety towards the end of the year last year. You look at the numbers don't tell everything. Open your eyes and look. We didn't have a running game, Philly 500. But yet the threat of Tony Pollard. The threat of Tony Pollard on one leg? Is that what you're talking about? I don't get it. I don't get it. Keep it real. You want to play with your, Mark Holmes, the Dak Prescott and Mozzie Smith, nut hugger, whatever. Keep it up. Big Sills, you keep doing what you're doing, not having an opinion. One day you like the Eagles, the next day they suck. One day you think Jalen Hurts is you're ranked number 16. The next he's the best thing since sliced bread. Hey, that's an Eagle channel, but he don't seem to know what he wants to think. And now he's cooked up some trade. CeeDee Lamb getting traded to you're getting traded to who? Who the hell is he getting traded to? Green Bay. Listen, Big Sills. The Cowboys playing you like a fiddle. You're like his little bitch where he could just leak out information and you just spew it like you know what the hell you're talking about. And listen, I like you. I think you're a talented guy. I think you're entertaining. But everybody knows you're not an Eagle fan, yet you break Philly 500 on and yuck it up against my guy Mark Holmes. Whatever. I watched it this morning and I was just cringing to watching it. It's just the same stuff. Can you come up with something new? You got one guy, Dak, he sucks in the playoffs. And then by the end of the video, you literally heard Philly 500 say, yeah, he could go. I mean, who cares about stats? He could win every game all season. He's still a choker. Okay, well, if that's what you want, that's fine. Your guy hasn't won a Super Bowl. Isn't that the end goal? Yet we're puffing up Lamar Jackson like he's something special. Lamar has a great coaching staff, a great defense, a great offensive line, a great tight end, and yet he has a 2-5 record in the playoffs. Yet I'm being thrown in my face. Well, he made it to a championship game. He's won 2 playoff games, people. It's time and circumstance. Look into the games. You see why. But we're getting off on a tangent here. But I'm asking people to keep it real. Don't bring your narrative from another channel that you didn't like to my channel and say, I said something. I never said nothing about Fangio other than I think it's better than having, the 2 rookie guys you had last year who I thought were thrown under the bus. I still think Brian Johnson was thrown under the bus. You beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you beat the Miami Dolphins, you beat the Buffalo Bills, all playoff teams with Brian Johnson at the helm. And then we're finding out, Nick Sirianni called 95% of the plays. What is it? It's well known that the Eagles collapsed. You lost your best defensive player, Hassan Reddick. You brought in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which I predicted 3 weeks before it happened. And then you went out and got some young guys. You still have Darius Slay. I like the player. He's not what he was, but he's not trash. He's a good player. You got Jalen Carter, arguably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Love the player. He was my number one. Again, we're going to keep it real here. You could fact check. Okay. Milton Williams, I like. He's a free agent. He'll be gone after the year, most likely. I like him in that rotation. Huff, okay. He's not Hassan Reddick. And if you say anything otherwise, then you're just hoping. That's fine. You're allowed to hope. It's the season of hope. I hope that Carl Lawson can be a good rotational piece. But like what I do know is we got D-Law coming on off one edge. We got Micah Parsons coming off the other edge. We've bolstered our defensive line. We got a Pro Bowl Osa Odigizua. We got arguably the best secondary in the NFC, arguably, with Bland, Diggs, Jordan Lewis, Seatbelt Carson this year, who's already instantly took. Yet it's funny. Listen, Kenyon Mitchell's having a great camp, and I told you I like the player. We could believe that, but when I tell you that Kellen Carson has multiple interceptions, has a lockdown camp, he looks to be all the part of a 5th-round pick. The last 5th-round pick that looked like this was a Deron Bland, who's setting not Cowboy records, NFL records. Yet that's who is this guy? You can't have it both ways, people. You can't. You can, but they call that you're a fan. You would be a fanboy of your team. That's fine. Be fanboys if you want. Or do you want to keep it real? My team choked in the playoffs. I'm keeping it real. Your team lost 7 games in a row, including a blowout playoff loss. Well, everybody gave up by that. Oh, okay. Well, hold up. Is the same coach still here? The head coach? Is the same quarterback still here? Okay. So I guess Saquon's going to save the day. Okay, he's a great ball player. He can't stay healthy, but I hope he does. You see where I'm going? It's just frustrating when I got to deal with some of the crap and I see some of the stuff. But that's where we are right now. We are in the era of let's crap on the other person's team. Let's pump my guys up because that makes me sleep better at night. Instead of saying, no, Eagles have a lot of pressure in week one. If you go and lose in Brazil, now I hope that you win the game because I don't want to be around a bunch of negative people because I know what's going to happen. If it's ugly and the Eagles get blown out week one, then you're going to have half the people that are like, oh, geez, here we go. That's 8 in a row now. Or if you blow out the Packers, you're going to the Super Bowl. And it's fine to live that way, but reality is you ain't going to know nothing for 8 weeks. You ain't jumping out. I heard Drew say, that's what we do. We jump out. What are you talking about? You haven't won back-to-back divisions since 2003. What are you jumping out? I mean, you know what I'm saying? 2003, 2004 was the last time that an NFC East team won back-to-back. It was the Eagles. You haven't done it since then. What are you talking about every year you jump out? What are you jumping? Out of a plane? Dallas could go 2-4 out of the gate. That doesn't mean, I think they're going to be, if they're 500, if they're 3-3 after 6 games, I think you're in trouble. So you need Dallas to be 2-5 because I believe Dallas's offensive line is going to be better. I believe their defense overall by the end of the year is going to be statistically better. And they'll be in a better place as a defense going into the playoffs. If I'm wrong, I'll sit here and I'll admit it. Will you? Or will you move the goalpost and go, all right, but let's see what they do in the playoffs. See what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back. Oh, and last things last when it comes to Brad Harris. I love Brad Harris. Big supporter of the channel. But again, and I count on Brad to get rid of the people who or the actual problems that are calling people names, talking about people's personal lives. I would appreciate that. And when it comes to somebody's opinion, who cares? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them, and most of them stink. All right? So you just need to relax, man. I got some bad news, in the family. I don't need to be harassed over stupid crap when life is short. Can we please all enjoy ourselves, try and have fun? If it comes to a point where my channel is not like exciting or fun to you anymore, then you got to do what you got to do, bro. I mean, I can't just block everybody. I can't unless they deserve it. And I give you carte blanche to do so. Mark Holmes doesn't like anybody to be blocked. He just doesn't notice who's being blocked. Do you know how many times I had to tell Mark, this person's blocked? And he had to go in and unblock them because he don't want that. This is YouTube. But if you get personal, I want Brad to light him up. But, I don't know. I'm hoping Brad hangs around. But like I told you before, Brad, I gave you my personal number. I've reached out. We've had many conversations. I think of you as a friend. I don't do that to everybody. So you got to do what's best for your mental health. Ultimately, if that's what you want to do, bro, it sucks. But I'm not in this necessarily. Like I was telling another person that I was talking to, I said, if it was about money, I probably wouldn't do YouTube at all, to be honest with you. It's about a passion for my team, and I'm trying to build something for for like a few years down the road, I have an idea of what I want to do when I'm not working for the post office anymore. I'm not going to be on ESPN, that's for sure. It's just I'm just trying to build a YouTube channel like everybody else does. Mine's growing at a more rapid rate, so I'm dealing with more stuff, I guess. But again, I hope Brad stays. I hope Drew can have his point without going overboard and pulling stuff out that wasn't said. I mean, that's what I would hope. But I can't hold my breath, Trust me, YouTube is YouTube. Ask any YouTuber. When you start out, especially where I'm at, it's not about money. I appreciate it, but it's more about the people taking the time out to watch what watch the show. That's where it starts. Like you need people to subscribe, share, and go from there. So, but anyway, circling back to the Cowboys, let's hear about Micah Parsons. It's a small clip. Let's hear about Micah and what he's got to say about this defense that certain people think is going to be horrible.
So a feisty final practice. What do you think?
That's what we need. You need that intensity, that ramp up. What, we 2 weeks away?
Right.
You need to be ready to go. The adrenaline should be higher. Everything should be higher, man. Next week's going to be a completely different team. So, this is a lot of guys' last showing. And you need that, man, especially you want to see that drive, especially from that second group. I think that's why it was so important for me to, really amp these guys up, because a lot of guys don't understand the opportunity and the gratitude of just being out here and not knowing this isn't guaranteed, So we need those type of days.
I raised this defense. How have y'all taken to Mike Zimmer's scheme and fitting and really ready to show your best this year?
I think it's a combination of both things. I think Mike has done a great job of opening, seeing the film from last year. I was like, hey, Mike, you mind if we keep this in here? We're doing this. We had a lot of success, especially to certain looks, things like that. And, he got his hard nose and he got his okays. We can work that in. So I think the combination of, all our minds been really putting a great use. Our morning meetings, the group just keep getting bigger and bigger. Everyone's knowledge of the system. And I think we have a really good chance of being a really, really, really good defense this year.
When the practice started today, do you have a feeling that this was going to be feisty, or did it just develop as it went on?
I think it just developed as it went on. I think it was kind of like a lot of guys are banged up. You don't really know who's out here. And I don't know, something just kind of sparked. And I was just like, man, we got to really take this to another level. It don't matter who's out here, who's in here, And I think it started from that 2 minute and just kind of really went on from there.
Being the last practice, did it have something to do with it? Ready to go home?
I mean, I'm ready to go home. I've been ready to go home. That ain't changed nothing.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I just, like I said, it's the last really competitive day.
Right.
And for a lot of guys, that's probably my last time competing with a couple of those guys. So, I think that took a big part of it, just all of us being together.
You have three guys in this rookie class that look like are going to work in and play for you some this year, and Nealon and Leofau and Carson. What do you think of those guys?
I really think a lot of Marshawn. I think Marshawn is going to be really, really good. I think he approached this thing the right way.
Forgot about
Marshawn
Nealon.
Coachable,
another part of that.
Taking the points, and I think each day he's kind of getting closer to what I'm seeing. I think he's still developing his feel at the pro level.
We'll see how that bad defense does against your squad.
That feels hard, bro, and it's hard to really grasp
keep it real.
because it's different than college, man. And I think Mozzie battled that last year, understanding the feel and the, how strong some of these guys really are and your leverage and, where your most strong point at. And that takes a while, man. And like I said, I'm always grateful for those guys who helped me out. And then, Carson, I think he flashed a lot.
Kalen Carson,
I think they realized that pretty early, and then now he's not playing in preseason
games, so you can
see where he's going in his direction in his career, and he's going to play a lot. So we got a great group there, and we had a lot of injuries the last 2 years. Though, we got some depth at the position. It's really good, and I think Maris is really straining out, man. I think I said even yesterday he's making plays all over. I think.
Maris
his kind of. I think when you come here and you're like, man, I'm playing all these good guys.
Other teams can.
You're thinking, you're still trying to learn the playbook. But I think he got it now. I think he's going to be the guy that's going to surprise a lot of people and probably play, just as much as Marshawn, if not more. Carson's kind of hard because you got two All-Pros, but
young player.
I think Maris is really going to make that jump.
Speaking of you brought up back at Art. What have you seen from Zeke out here in practice? See that he's ready to go.
I mean, I think Zeke's a game-time player. I think Zeke's one of my favorite players of all time. And I think what he shows out here and what he does on game day is like night and day. And it's never really the good looks. I don't think people take and consider what Zeke really does. Zeke's a trucker. Like, he trucks people. He creates movement. You're not going to see out there when we're just tagging off. So you don't really see how great Zeke is until we're in person. I mean, all of it until last year, I think he had over 1,000 yards. So, I mean, he's one of my favorite players of all time. So anytime I get have him back or have him in this team, bro, I'm pretty happy about
As
it.
part of
Speaking of the
rotation,
all-pro
I don't
corners,
see
how
what
good is it to
anybody
see
has an
Trayvon
issue with.
Diggs not only back out there, but it looks like he's getting back to form quickly. He's talking,
Oh, yeah.
you know, during every rep, just seeing that energy from him.
Oh, I mean, I love to see. I mean, that's the energy that I been knew he had. It's just getting him back into that momentum. I think his first couple of days, he's kind of just like, you know, he's trying to get his feet under himself and he's trying to get his feel. And yesterday, I think he was like, man, my legs ain't as good as they used to be. And I think today you really start to see him shining, and he's going to come back a lot sooner than, you know, he anticipated. And I think he's really looking better and better, making plays. He's attacking the ball now instead of just feeling his routes. I mean, we're starting to see that Trayvon Diggs, who's going to make that, I mean, that top 5 corner Diggs.
Micah, you mentioned that you're going to do your podcast again. I'm just curious,
Yeah.
when you go into another season of doing that, do you take notes to do something different, or how do you kind of approach?
Yeah, you got to switch
I
it up,
approach it
bro.
like how I play the football game, man. Just, I think when you kind of love the sport and you kind of watch it and you're just constantly learning, and you know, every day I'm out here, I think I got a good input or idea of what's going on in locker rooms and, you know, what's going out there on the field. And man, I just kind of like to see y'all opinions too, man. I think everyone has a positive outlook on the game, as long as it's positive. I hate the negative talk about things and players, but as long as it's positive, man, that's really about, because at the end, right, it's kids, it's adults that look at what we say and how we do things, and we always want to be positive, because at the end of the day, this is an entertainment business, right? So we want to put positive entertainment, positive words out there, because at the end of the day, we don't want to degrade or put down anybody. We always want to be as positive as we can.
So you're not like the end of it, when fans would say there's a lot of distractions, but you would say no, because I'm doing a podcast, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think no one really cares about what I'm doing on a Monday afternoon when I'm at home with my kids. So why would they care if I'm on Xbox, you know, if I'm on? I think we all get our own free time. When y'all away from here, are y'all thinking about me at home? I would hope not.
Yeah, because you're tweeting and so we have to think we gotta follow you and stuff like that.
No, you should follow me, but I know.
I'm at home, you know, at the bar, and I gotta watch.
Yeah, but I know, but at Tuesday afternoon, I'm at home with my kids. I know you probably not think, I wonder if Mike is doing a podcast. It's 3 o'clock. I wonder what he's going to say. I would hope not. I hope y'all like that.
It's after it's posted, then I got to worry about it.
Yeah, I think so. It's okay. Cause,
Well, you don't say nothing controversial, then we're good.
yeah, I try not to say controversial, but everyone always is going to be drawn to something. They're going to try to take one word or one phrase.
Your body language
Podcast.
on the draft.
Yeah, they're going to take one thing and just be, oh, Mike has said this. He feels it. I mean, we all have opinions. We ain't going to agree to what everyone says. I mean, that's life.
Two things. Yesterday you didn't practice, so you just kind of doing conditioning. What was up with that? Of course, you were back today. So.
Yeah. You know, I just think I was just taking care of my body. You know, I just woke up, felt something just a little bit different, and I just wanted to be cautious with it and just making sure I'm constantly just getting my treatment, and I was able to go full go today. So nothing really to worry about. I was just being cautious with myself. Same thing with D-Law.
All right, we're going to stop it there. But he basically goes on to say that defense is going to be better. He loves again, it's all a guessing. Every year takes on a season of its own. Okay, all you could hope to do is build off of what they did last year. What made them great last year was the turnovers. It helped an offense that was stagnant through the first 5 weeks of the year. Dak put up 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions and 4,500 yards, and the first 5 weeks were bad. Yet we're saying this year, well, the first 5 weeks, you guys are going to be ass, and it's going to be the end of your season. You can't say that. As a fan, you can. You want to be a fan, you can say that. You can say whatever you want, but looking into it, Eagles have just as much question marks as the Cowboys. On offense, you're very talented, but that very talented team minus Jason Kelsey and addition of C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Saquon, are they going to be able to make the difference? You lost 7 in a row coming down the stretch, but you guys get a pass for that. That's where I have to call bullshit. No, as a franchise, you collapsed. Just like as a franchise, we collapsed in the game against Green Bay. You see it differently than I do. Again, I got to try and take my fandom and put it aside. I don't know. I'm just telling you that the addition of Trayvon Diggs, having this 3 linebackers, I mean, you laid it out. Having a better running back room than we did last year. Again, when you have a one-legged running back in Tony Pollard in the NFL, it's not good. There was no threat. Who are you kidding yourself, Philly 500? Nobody took Dallas as a threat last year. They did not, running the ball. They collapsed. And early on, we didn't take advantage of it, passing the ball. We were getting great field position and getting field goals. Now, with the emergence of Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, a whole season with Brandon Cooks, who is lighting it up in training camp. It's okay. Like I said, it's okay to look at another team and go, he's having a great Jalen hasn't thrown any interceptions. That's okay. You're allowed to take positives from Eagles training camp, but when there's positives in Dallas training camp, it's training camp. Again, that's where I'm going to call. You need to keep it real, everybody. Or I'm going to call it out. And then just like my Dallas fans, if they want to talk all the smack about Trey Lance, I'm going to tell you it's preseason. I'm going to tell you it's good that he looked better in Las Vegas. But he's still far, far away from being a competent NFL quarterback, especially against the ones. He was throwing the whole first half of the Oakland game. He was behind all the receivers. So I don't know. I got a couple people in the comment section that love them some Trey Lance. I hope he succeeds. That helps Dallas in one way or another, whether he's the ultimate guy or Dak replacement or you're going to flip him. It doesn't matter to me. That helps Dallas because I'm about the star. I'm not about loving or hating any particular player. I want the best for my team. You guys can do what you want. Hate, love, whatever. I'm not in the business to do that. I like guys. I'd like to see Dak be here. I'd like to see CD be here. But if we can get a good deal, then whatever. Move on. Life goes on. But all right, everybody. That's it for me. I don't know exactly what I'm doing later. I'm sure I'll do something later this evening. Maybe do a lunchtime chat. If I go to the gym, we get some news. I'll throw a video out there. I'm still waiting for my boat thing to upload. Ridiculous. But all right, everybody. I'll talk to everybody later. And don't ever forget. Late.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Kind of hot in these rhinos.